Woo-wee! All right, what a video we have in store today. Very rare do we get six trades in the video today, all winners. Every single one a winner today, so we're going to break them down. We're going to roll through it. We got a little bit longer of a video today. It was crazy out there in the market. Lots of opportunities, lots of crazy stocks moving. IGMS, AMC. Guess what? I traded both of them today. So if you want to follow along, watch the video, I would appreciate it. Hit like and subscribe. It's actually absolutely free for you. It means a lot for me. Also, make sure you check out the links down in the description below for 20 to 30% off the scanner I use to find all these plays, trading journals, all the above, trading accounts. Check them out down in the links below. Let's trade. All right, so first trade of the day was right out of the opening gates on AMC. You can see AMC was pumping right out of the opening gates here this morning. It's alerting high on the intensity scanner, and I go ahead and short 100 shares here at 31.45 to get this one started. It immediately pops right through. I put an order out at 31.88. It was too fast. I didn't get it, so now I'm going to look to see if it can get up through 32 to get an add in here on AMC, because that's a little bit better of a spot at this point, I think. So it's pushing up towards 32. Can it get through? Can it get through there? Pops through. I add in. I now have 200 shares short at 31.74 average price. And it's AMC. It's AMC. It's AMC. So I want to be punchy on these kind of stocks, these meme stocks. And I'm thinking, okay, if we get down nicely here below my average, I will look to take all the shares off. So it was a little too quick for me there. My brain wasn't working quite as much as I wanted it to. So I'm in here, 200 shares short, like I said, but I want to be punchy with it because it's AMC. It's one of the meme stocks, so I'm just going to take it. It was a little too slow there on that first move down, but looking at it, I'm like, okay, maybe we can get 31.40 here, which would be, you know, both entries there, which would be nice here with 200 shares. So looking for it. It's coming down towards 31.50s. Can we get under 31.50s? I go ahead and click it right there. So didn't quite get the 31.40 I wanted, but all out there at 31.50 for plus $48 here on the first trade of AMC. So glad I got that and was punchy with it because it immediately starts popping and we immediately get back in 100 shares short again at 33.20. Looking for another pop here. We're willing to add in still on AMC if it wants to go a bit higher. AMC going crazy out of the opening gates. Same idea though here. Want to be punchy with it. Don't want to be sitting in this one for an extended amount of time just because it is AMC and it has that potential to do that insane crazy move. So it does start popping up higher here. It's up into the 70s. Can we get up into the 80s here, the 33.80s on AMC? It gets into the 80s. I go ahead and click the button. I am now short 200 shares at 33.53, but still have room to add in more here if I need to. Unfortunately, I didn't because I was willing to be punchy with these, like I said. So at this point, with the 200 shares, if we get down below that 33.40, I believe it was, I was willing to take it here. But it gets a nice move down there, and I get it at 33.17. So really nice move there. Got the exit below both entries, which is what I always look for. It's always the goal, not always possible or easy, but always the goal. So punchy with that one again, and just like that, about 5 minutes into market open, we're up $120 now. If you watched AMC, you know this thing died massively off right after this, but that's okay. Not upset with it because I stuck to the plan. It could have easily done the same thing in the opposite direction and been a big loser had I not stuck to that plan. So all right, a little bit later, it's Tesla, and Tesla's pushing down towards 1080. So I'm looking for a 1080 break here to go ahead and do a scoop long trade here on Tesla. So I'm watching it as it comes down here towards that 1080 level, and I'm looking for a nice move under 1080. I don't just want to see it hit 1080, I want to see a nice move under. So it's pushing down nice and strong here, coming down towards 1080. Can we get that nice big fast break under 1080? And we're watching it, and boom, there it is. I go ahead and get long 10 shares at 1078.82. Willing to add on this if it gets down towards the 1072s now with these 10 shares. But 2 minutes later, it's popping up, so I'm looking to take 5 shares off if it gets back up over 1082, which would be about 3 points there on those first 5 shares, and then we'll have the 5 shares left over to see if it can make a nice, much bigger rebound. So there it is through 1082. I take 5 shares off, and we're going to wait and see what happens with the other 5 shares. Now, Tesla on this one did come back down almost to 1072, and I almost added in those 5 shares to get back to my original position, but I didn't because it didn't get quite down far enough. So now I'm watching it. It's not really doing what I'm wanting. So I'm like, all right, if it gets over 1080, I'll just cut it off here and just take a small win, and that's exactly what happens. I take it off there at 1080 for a small win. So, not too much there on Tesla. Then BBBY a little bit later is popping up real nice here. It's coming up towards the 2750s. I go ahead and start a short at 2740, alerting on the scanner below me. This is generally a price range where I could go bigger starting share size here than 100, but I've watched BBBY a lot recently, so I wanted to take this one a little bit slower, a little bit easier, and make the trade a little bit easier on myself by not starting with a bigger share size. So plenty of room to add in here now if I don't have the right idea on the levels here. So I'm watching it, and it's now getting up towards 28. I'm going to see if it can get up through those 2780s. Can we get up higher? I put the order there. Didn't get a fill initially at 2780, which would have been a little bit of a top tick right there on that candle. So now I'm going to see it and wait and see what it does here and see if I can add in a little bit more here on BBBY. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that order. I still have the limit set at 2780, and we'll see what it does if it pops to that area again. So it pushes 2780, gets through a little bit. I go ahead and add in there. So I now have 200 shares short here on BBBY at an average of 2761. Still plenty of room to add in more shares here on BBBY, and that's exactly what we do. So it's popping up higher. I go ahead and put an order out for 200 shares at 2820. I didn't get it, so now I'm going to wait in a second, see if it gets up a little higher, and that's what happens. It gets up a little bit higher. I get that fill of 200 more shares at 2825. So I now have 400 shares short of BBBY at 2793, and still on this one, plenty of room to add in more shares if I need to. It's making a nice extension here, but it's not quite as fast as I would normally like. So several minutes later, it's just kind of hanging on to that 28 level, and I'm not really liking what it's doing. It's not really my style of trade. So I'm thinking if it comes down below the 2785-ish, I'll see what it does. See if it can break 2780 one more time. It doesn't, so I just take 300 shares off there, reducing it down, and then if I can get the extra 100 shares down a little bit further, say under 2770, I will then look to take those off at that point, just because this one's not really doing the kind of move that I like. So it's not really taking a winning trade at this point, as oftentimes is the case. It's just kind of reducing it down and just getting out when it's not really doing what I'm looking for. There's nothing wrong with just getting out when it's not doing what you want. So I take the other 100 shares right there under 2770 for a $44 gain. No big deal there, just kind of cutting that one off for a small win. But then immediately, IGMS, the stock of the day, starts going nuts here. Starts going absolutely nuts, and it's already up like 60% here at this point. I go ahead and put an order out, don't get filled. I cancel it. I said, okay, I'm going to wait for higher now. So I get 100 shares short here at 23.96. And just like AMC, I'm going to look to be punchy on this one. So makes a real quick move here. I put an order out 24.89. I don't get that fill. It starts getting real choppy, real spready. I'm like, okay, I didn't get that fill there. I'll leave the order there to try to get that fill. If I get it, great. If not, I'll probably just look to try and take these initial shares off at just a very small cut profit, just because I didn't get that nice fill in there. So I'm going to put an order out here, I believe, around 23.70, just to try and get these first 100 shares off in the event that it comes down and gets me a fill there. So there's the order out at 23.70, and it's kind of sitting there. It doesn't get me a fill there. I actually got a little bit below that on the chop there, but didn't get a fill there. So still sitting with that 100 shares out at 23.70 if I can cover that first 100 shares, and still have the other order out at 24.89 if it wants to continue its up move to get me in the ad. Still very extended here, making a nice big move, but it has already made a crazy move on the day, being up over 60% at this point. So it's just kind of waiting to see what it's going to do. There it is. It fills me with the ad there, and I now have 200 shares short at 24.43. And like I said, my plan the whole time was to be choppy on this one, get in and get out if it gives me the opportunity, because it's one of those ones that has the real chance to rip your face off. So looking at it here, I'm like, okay, if we get down under 24.20s, I'll probably just take the whole thing off here. So it's obviously spready. I'm waiting to see if it can move down towards 24, just with the limit at 24.20. And so I'm watching the bid here. That's the one I'm watching in this instance, seeing if we can get that move down towards 24. It's chopping back and forth, 30 cents at a time. and it's get kind of around that 24.50s when it starts to make that move down towards 24. So I'm watching it here. I'm watching it here. It's in the 40s, the 50s. What's it going to do? Can it move down towards 24 with a limit at 24.20? And boom, there it is, 24, pretty much on the bid. I hit it at 24.20 when it was at 24. Didn't get the fill there, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to leave it out here at 24.20 now because it's so choppy. I'll just take it down there if I can get it, move on, see if it wants to make more of a move. That's what it does. It fills me there at 24.20, so up $45 on IGMS here on the first time around. Is there a second time around? You know it because you watched IGMS today and you saw what it did. So it made a huge move up probably 20 minutes later or so. And I'm watching it here and I'm like, okay, it's made a nice move, but it hasn't made that huge fast extension move yet. So here comes the big fast extension move, and I'm watching it here as it's pushing up towards that $30 level. I'm looking for, you know, what's it going to do here? I go ahead and get short at 29.77, which is a little bit lower than I thought I was getting there. I thought I was getting up like 29.90s, but 20 cents or so when it's moving, you know, points or so at a time, not that big a deal. So I'm in 100 shares short, 29.77, looking for a move up through 30.50 if we can get a move up through 30.50 for an ad here this time around on IGMS. So it's kind of just chilling here for a second. I put an order out, same kind of thought at 29.20. If it wants to get down and get me out of those first shares quickly, I'll be more than happy to take those there. But it starts moving higher, and I add in there around 30.70-ish, 30.65, somewhere in there. So I now have 200 shares short at 30.21, still with the plan of being quick and snappy with it. So I'm ready with those 200 shares. If we get down under 30, I will click the button. It got down into the 80s there. I clicked the button, but unfortunately only got filled at 30. So added another $40 or so here in IGMS before this thing absolutely ripped faces off, and I decided it was time to be done trading IGMS for the day and really be done trading everything together. So that's going to do it. 6 trades today. You saw them all here. They weren't all the most perfect, beautiful trades in the world, but they all made a little bit of money, ending the day up 275. So March going really well, trying to end it strong here in March. I've got a number in my account that I'm looking for to hit on the month that if I do hit it, we'll make a video reviewing the whole month. I'll show you my broker statement and all that stuff, show you the stats from TraderView, and we'll go from there. So got a little bit more to go. We got 2 more days to do it. Hopefully I can. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'll see you later.